point of 6.8% due to the effects of the coronavirus pandemic, which therefore throws exactly what the numbers have been this year for the second largest economy this year. Let's take a look at it as well. Now let's really look at what the economy has been, the way it has been affected by the coronavirus pandemic. Now, what did Bloomberg say at the start of the year on what their numbers for the past 3 months were going to be? They put it at 5.3%. Looks like they had missed it by quite some points. AFP put it at 5.2%, also missing it at quite some points now. Now, if you look at exactly what the first months, like we're talking about the first 9 months in terms of the recovery has been, we're putting it at 0.7%. If you go by that, it's year on year. If you look at exactly what the recovery has been month on month, all right, all the way to last year. Now, if you look at exactly where we are now, compare that with exactly where they were from April to June, they were at 3.2%. And remember, the biggest contraction was at 6.8% in the first quarter of the year, because that's exactly when they were coming into terms or grappling with the heavy effects of the coronavirus pandemic. All right, let's come here locally therefore and talk about another effect of what has been the coronavirus pandemic. Now remember, we did actually ban the importation of mitumba into the country, because we did suspect that it could be among the leading agents of the coronavirus infections in the country. So what has been the effect since then? Just before that, let's look at the data that we have in terms of the quantity and value of second-hand clothing into the country. We actually see that from 2017 to 2019, we can actually see that the quantity keeps on increasing. We do have the 2020 numbers, which we're going to discuss about this morning. But if you look at the value again, it's pretty much goes into a stark difference in terms of the way that we have been importing into the country. Now, why is this relevant this morning? I will tell you why. Because mitumba imports now have reduced 76%, all right, on a ban of mitumba imports. Let's talk about the tonnage, because it is 12,081 tons that were imported in April to June, all right, up from 50,486, which pretty much shows you what the effect of the ban has been. And there is also a plan to actually continue regulating the importation of mitumba into the country, so that we put the local textile industry into perspective. Conversations like that are also going to come in. So let's look at also what has been now from this effect on the average, on the overall exports, also on the overall, imports and exports into the country. And this morning, I want us to really focus on what our export numbers look this morning. Now, you can actually look at that 2017 to 2018 to 2019. Yes, we have been improving in terms of our exports, and there has been a factor that also the CBK has mentioned as they were looking at the 3.5% economic growth expectation. They said that our exports have been quite improving during the coronavirus pandemic, which is a factor they believe is going to support their 3.5% economic growth this year, despite the 5.7% in our quarter two contraction of our economy this year. All right, another focus point this morning is exactly now how there are worries that Kenya could be entering into the second wave of infections. We're coming now from a positivity rate of more than 12%. And if you look at exactly where we are, we did start from 4%, 7%, now we're at 12%. And this is when we did relax some of the unprecedented measures that we were operating under. Now remember, we've reopened schools and we were coming from the backdrop of reduced infections in the country. The curfew has been extended to 11 p.m. Good. And also the number of people who are expected to attend ceremonies has been increased as well. Bars have been reopened, and now restaurants can also sell alcohol. But now there's a focus on whether indeed this relaxation of measures is making Kenya get into the second wave this week. We shall be talking about what the positivity rate means and exactly what it means for Kenya to start talking about the second wave of infections. Are we ready as a country, even as ICU beds, patients keep on increasing, and the number of people who are also getting infected per day keep on increasing in the country as well? That's a big focus on exactly what it is that we have prepared for you this morning. You can get involved 2146. That is your SMS line at Metropol TVKE across all your social media platforms. But this morning, we want to start from a very pertinent point. I want to ask you a question. Do you know what financial well-being is? What is your financial health? Can you answer that question? What money principles do you go by the day, or do you run your business under? This morning, we talk about leveraging on digital for your financial well-being. Let's take that break. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. Once we come back, our 2 hours will officially then shall have begun. This is Business AM, but most certainly Metropol Television.
On the next episode of The Bank, The Banker and The Banked, we throw the spotlight at the African Guarantee Fund, a fund that has been working behind the scenes to facilitate access to credit for small and medium-sized enterprises across the continent.
We provide partial guarantees to financial institutions across Africa and capacity development to help them develop their ability to appraise and manage SME portfolio.
Join me, Stephen Kimani, at this time on Metropol TV.
Markets Today is a place you need to be every single day on Metropol TV. We give you access to insights with regards to the financial market. What is happening? Where are people making money? Where are people losing money? And where do you need to place your money? We speak to the decision makers in this industry, the chief executive officers, the chief finance officers, permanent secretaries, people in the cabinet.
Money is starting to circulate.
Central banks globally are trying to offset that.
Consumer spending patterns.
Now let's look at the numbers.
We've not raised a single shilling of new equity capital.
To understand where is your money going to actually grow in the near term.
The market in which financial securities are exchanged or traded.
On Metropol TV, and I am your host, Bife Mwema, and see you then.
There is different sports, so why not different languages? Katika kutathmini hali na matukio viwanjani,
Kikosi tumekisuka kikasukika, kwani mwanzo wa chanzo ni chani mbili.
Do they need to win because they're your team or because
No, Liverpool, we won for them the league.
I'm an Arsenal fan by the way.
Why am I here? Why am I here, man?
Hapa taa zimewaka.
Kweli mataa yananiruhusu kuripoti yanayotendeka katika mtaa yote.
Maneno. Ni betting na kukibizi sana.
Mimi ni Mwasenali, lazima kaa ange, kwani bango likitolewa mjini habari huwa wameipata.
In journalism training, only 5 viewpoints matter for a proper story. My experience as a business journalist has however taught me that there is more. So now I understand that before I walk into that interview, I have to look for the hidden. So for me, what sticks is the story behind the story. What would you say is that unique, very unique selling aspect that you can guarantee I will not find anywhere else?
Good question.
My name is Ingrid Nantege and this is Metropol Television.
You have covered a lot of business stories, which makes me wonder, what is a good business story to you?
Simba, a good business story has to be first and most importantly factual.
Over 734,000 tons of containers through this port in 2018.
To the fermenting unit for fermentation, a process that takes approximately 3 hours. Secondly, it has to be timely.
Strict measures that have been put in place to ensure that there is no chance of spreading the coronavirus.
And objective.
Now it's been unfinished business in construction of some of the roads in Nairobi. A case in point is this Enterprise Road.
What does this mean to the Kenyan coffee farmer?
What this means for Kenyan coffee farmer is that...
Now that is a good business story to me.
My name is Victoria Amunga and this is Metropol TV.
There's no news story that is in touch with the needs of the audience like a business news story. Therefore, as a business anchor, it is in my mandate to understand the source of the story and most importantly, consequences of the story. Which means before I take that script into my hands, I have to be close to the story. I have to experience the story. Or simply, I have to live the story.
It's Friday the 5th of July 2019. It's 1 p.m. So welcome to Metropol News at 1.
My name is Nina Siobhan.
Welcome back to Metropol Television. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage, and as spoken about this morning at the introduction of our show, we are going to speak about financial wellness. Now, Financial wellness is generally defined as the process of learning how to successfully manage financial expenses as money impacts the kind of lives we live and businesses we get into. Now, while the underlying concept of financial wellness is financial security, there are factors like having access to financial services and other benefits that count in financial wellness. Now, to help paint a picture of what financial wellness is from a personal level to business level, we are joined by Sheila Mbogam, who's the founder Financial Wellness Center. Sheila, good morning.
Good morning to you, Mr. Simba. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Happy to have you around. So let's get into the gist of the conversation this morning, Sheila. The first question for you is how can we properly understand what financial wellness is, both from a business and personal perspective? And what should come first? Is it personal wellness before financial wellness in business? Just help us clear that.
Thank you so much for your great question, Mr. Simba. Financial wellness cuts across the personal and business side, and definitely it's very important to start with the personal financial wellness, then move on to business financial wellness. So personal financial wellness basically means being able to manage your economic life through things like budgeting, investing, saving, and having access to tools and information that can help you make proper financial decisions. So that is from a personal perspective. But when it comes to a business perspective, financial wellness means that a business or a company is able to operate within its budget. It's able to keep its profit and loss records through bookkeeping. It's able to manage its debts and also its assets. And at the same time, the business is able to achieve its long-term and short-term financial goals without having to strain itself too much. And to wrap it up, for a business side, financial wellness also means being able to take care of its employees' financial health. So when it comes to business, we input both the business side of it, including the employees. But for personal, it's for an individual and being able to, manage your finances accordingly.
Pretty much, Sheila. You mentioned something that people really have to know as well. I mean, you're talking about financial wellness. You're also talking about financial health. So let's begin from a very personal level, Sheila, this morning. Is financial wellness something that must be taught, or is something that can be inborn?
Financial wellness is not inborn. It's something that is taught. That is why we have financial literacy.
Yes.
And what is important to note, unfortunately, financial literacy is not taught in schools. You can agree with me. We have a lot of graduates who have a bachelor's in finance, but they are not financially literate. And because of this, we find a lot of most people who will tell you, I did finance in school, they are messing up in their management of finances. That is why we have businesses that are wallowing or they're going down because they lack the aspect or the knowledge on financial wellness. So it is not something inborn, it's something you acquire, and you have to be intentional about it, because it's not in our schools. That's why we have organizations like Financial Wellness Center to help you on that.
Pretty much, therefore. Sheila, paint a picture for me. This morning we're talking about leveraging on a digital to achieve your financial health and wellness. I mean, is it a new concept under financial wellness? And how do you leverage on digital as a business and as a person to achieve your financial wellness?
Yes, it's a new concept because it includes financial education and paints the need for people to understand their their behavior towards money. So as a business, most businesses need to leverage digitization through things like access and mobility of financial services. For example, 20 years ago, you could not be able to do a lot of transactions if you didn't have a bank account. But right now we have mobile phones that are helping people to access finances, do payments, access credit, just with a mobile phone. At the same time, we have applications that are helping businesses to track the spending and the business expenses, such as QuickBooks, Sage. These are things that were not there before. In the 90s, they were using manual ledger books, but now it's a system that it is interconnecting. You might find one business is in Kenya, the other one is in South Africa, but they are using one system to manage the business expenses. So digitization is very important, both at a personal level. It makes it accessibility to financial services, while at the same time for businesses, it allows for businesses to easily do bookkeeping.
Pretty much. Sheila, when we're talking about leveraging on a digital, I want to talk about the personal level. What are the specific digital mechanisms that I can use as a person to say, well, I am financially healthy? Let's talk about managing your finances. What are they that are open to me, that if I come to your financial wellness center today, Sheila, you'll be telling me I need to have this, and this before you even get into telling you exactly how you're supposed to leverage on them?
That is a great question, Mr. Simba. The first thing, you need to have a tool that is helping you track income. It's mostly, we usually recommend use an application. There's an application called Mint. There are quite a number of applications that help you to do that. Why insist on that? When you are able to track spending and income, you are basically able to now create a on your own. So we come to me for consultants first. Track your spending.
Sheila, I'm sorry, we seem to be losing you this morning in the studio. We're just trying to make sure that we have that established, because that's something very important. I want you to come clearly as it can. Can you go back and start that point on exactly I would say the digital mechanisms and I need to have first to help me understand I'm supposed to stay financially healthy? Should I walk into Financial Wellness Center? What are these ones you're going to tell me? Okay, Simba, let's start with this as we go on in this journey.
Sure. The first thing you need to have is a budgeting tool, or a tool that is able to help you track your spending and your income. The second one is having a tool that will allow you to save. We have a number of digital platforms that can allow, and specifically we do have the M-Shwari Lock Saving. That is already a digital platform that will help you be focused on saving. Then the next one is an investment tool. After you've saved, because there is a difference between saving and investing. So after you've saved your money, the next thing we need to know is, do you have an application that is helping you make sound investment decisions? So once you have those three things, then we can begin your financial wellness journey easily. So first, we need to get you a platform or an application that can help you track your spending and income, then budgeting, then saving tool, then investment tool. Then from there, we can, walk you the journey easily.
Pretty much. I'm going to come on exactly what a good, I would say, financial wellness program will look like for me to actually get to identify it. But then, Sheila, you say that money principles are must know for individuals and businesses really looking to achieve financial wellness. What are some of these principles and how do you apply them in your financial wellness journey?
Thank you so much for such a very interesting question. We do have money principles, and these are rules that everyone needs to know and apply them. Remember, knowledge becomes powerful when we apply it. So the first principle is spending less than you earn. We are in a society whereby just because we have access to certain things doesn't mean we need it. And how are you able to apply that? You're able to apply this principle by having a proper budget in place. Not every budget is proper. And that is why you find many people, they are able to have a budget on the first and second day of the month, but by 7th day of the month, they are like, this budget ain't working for me. It's because it's not customized for them. So the first principle is spend less than you earn, and this can be done through proper budgeting. The second principle is saving for your future, or having saving for a future spending. Currently, a lot of people say you need to YOLO, which is very important, but you need to YOLO with a plan for the future. And how do you plan for your future? By creating or investing in tools that can allow you to maintain your current lifestyle even after you retire. Maintain your current lifestyle even when maybe you lose your job. So that is the second principle. And how do you incorporate that? You incorporate that by coming up with a proper saving plan that can that Financial Wellness Center can help you come up with one. Remember, not every saving plan can work with you, and that is why a lot of people say, I started saving, but within 3 months, I ate all my savings. It means you did not have a proper saving plan that could make you stick to it. Then the second principle is only borrow what you can afford. Now, having this digitization of the financial industry, we've seen a lot of credit lending institutions coming up. We've seen, like, right now it's very easy for you to just borrow money using your phone. And this has led to many people borrowing money that they don't need. You find someone borrows money to buy pizza just because it's a buy one, get one. And this money the person borrows is going to end up with interest. So you only borrow what you can afford. And how do you get to borrow what you can afford? You have to have a proper debt management plan. A proper debt management plan is one that you sit down and see, do I really need to borrow this money, or there's another way I can get the same money without having to borrow? That is a debt management plan before you can actually borrow it. Again, we are in a society where people borrow just to finance their lifestyle for social media and all that. So learning this principle where you only borrow what you can afford, and this can only be achieved through learning to have a proper debt management plan, will help you attain financial wellness. And then the other one is growing your money. Earning money is one thing and growing money is another thing. There is this saying that says, learn to multiply money before you spend. Now, we've seen a lot of people, they earn money, huge sums of money, but immediately that income stream is cut off. It could be a job. Maybe you encounter job loss. You cannot finance anything, even pay for your basic expenses. So growing your money is a money principle that everyone needs to learn. How do you apply that? You apply that through having an investment strategy. So you have money, but you need to multiply it either passively or actively through having an investment strategy. So an investment strategy is where you have like a plan on how you're going to invest, what you invest in, what returns you expect to have. Then the other money principle is boosting your earning capacity. Now that we've spoken how you need to manage your money, you need to borrow, how to manage your debt, we've spoken how you need to grow your money, it's also important for you to learn how to boost your earning capacity. Because we've always been told you have to have more than one stream of income. But how do you do that? You do that by either improving your skill set or creating multiple income streams. It could be either directly or indirectly. That way you're boosting your earning capacity. And then the last principle is protecting what you have. Now, you have worked so hard, you fulfilled all these other principles, but what most people forget is protection. we need to protect what we have. One way you protect what you have is by having insurance. You just don't have to take life insurance. You also need to take insurance for your investment. You also need to take insurance for your savings. So it's important for you to learn the principle of protecting what you have by using tools like insurance or even an emergency fund, just to protect you when you lose your income stream.
Pretty much, Sheila. Now, I hope I've been taking notes myself and learning these things, which actually also points me to another direction as well this morning. I mean, everything that you got to talk about. I mean, as from 2020 onwards, the COVID-19 pandemic is going to be a reference point, and we know how it has swept businesses and jobs globally, with individuals and corporates worldwide being forced into unprecedented measures. Are we now forced to define financial wellness in relation to readiness for disasters? How do you start to prepare for this in your financial wellness journey?
We are not forced to relate financial wellness to disaster, because financial wellness incorporates the ability to be prepared to handle a disaster. How is this done? It's done through having an emergency fund. We have two levels of emergency fund. The first one is at an individual level, and the other one is at a business level. What is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is a fund that is able to cater for your expenses for at least 6 months to 1 year. So, at an individual level, if you knew about financial wellness, let's say an year ago, trust me, you had already built an emergency fund that was going to cater for you for a whole year. So that is why you find there are people or businesses. This COVID, in as much as it has impacted the delivery of services, it has not impacted the expenses such as salaries or even their expenditure as a business or as an individual. So emergency fund is one thing that has always been there under the financial wellness umbrella, but it's only that most people didn't know about it.
Yes.
So, and another aspect is having an insurance. As a business, it's crucial for you to have an insurance just in case of any disaster like the COVID. This is not something we planned. Nobody knew 2 years ago there would be a pandemic that took so much long. But if you have an insurance, as a business person, your business is able to keep running without really having to put much pressure on you or on your employees.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Sheila, I mean, my next question would be like, what are the concepts of a good financial health? Fine, but just before we get that, because I think we've mentioned them as we've gone on with this conversation, is now, well, somebody this morning will be quite inspired to get into a financial wellness course, either with your institution or any other as well. So what are the characteristics of a good financial wellness training program? And for an individual and business, what am I looking forward to? That from where you're sitting this morning, you will say, if somebody takes you to this direction, then you, my friend, you're in the right program.
Thank you so much for such an amazing question. I will answer it to cut across both individual and businesses, because it's the same characteristics. So and I'd really encourage our viewers to take up financial wellness trainings, especially now and the future that we are heading to. It's going to really require you to be financially literate. So the first characteristic is that a good financial training program should be easily accessible and mobile friendly. This such a program will be able to provide easy and online access to the users so that they can manage their finances on the go. Gone are the days when we used to know that training has to be one-on-one. For now, it needs to be something you can access. If I'm traveling up, I need to access this program without having to go to an institution. If I am going in a remote place, I need to access it through my mobile phone, not just the laptop. So it needs to be easily accessible and mobile friendly, because we all have our mobiles with us, but we don't carry along our laptops every time. The next characteristic is it needs to be convenient. Convenience is very important, especially in our current era, because we have a lot of things happening in our lives. So a good training program should help its customers tackle their financial matters at their convenience, not just during specific working hours. It's not like a bank where you're told our working hours is maybe 9 to 5. A financial wellness program should be an all-round program that you are able to access it at any point in your schedule. Then the next one, it should be private and secure. Remember, we are talking about money. Finances is a very, very important and risky thing to talk about with anyone. So it needs to be private and secure. Let the customer or the client feel that the information I'm providing, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and find it on all social media platforms. I'm not going to go somewhere and somebody is already talking to me about my finances, right? So it needs to be very private. And the other characteristic is it needs to give the clients independence. You know, before we've seen a lot of programs that after the client has attended, the person does not become independent. They are always leaning on the institution. Please help me to do this. No, a good program needs to make you independent. You need to walk out of that program ready to face your finances and take over them. You don't need to be carrying someone around just to help you do things. But there is a level that reaches there, but a good one needs to help you be independent. And the last characteristic is that a good program like Financial Wellness Center, it needs to offer you a human touch and a measure for success. Now, you know, we are in an era where we have a lot of robots. Even if you're trying to reach a customer care center, it's a robot that will talk to you for 15 minutes before a human being can even talk to you. And sometimes no human being talks to you. But a good financial program needs to allow you have that human touch, that if at some point I've gone through the notes, I've gone through the course, but I need to talk to someone to help me understand, then there has to be someone to guide you on that. And then it needs to have a measure of success. You don't need to be doing a program every 3 months and we can't track your success. We need to know you've taken our program for 3 months. What are you able to, what have you been able to achieve? What can you do now that when you came in, you are not able to do it? So we need to, the program needs to provide you with metrics that assess your actual results and also your behavioral changes. Because handling money is more of a behavior than data. So you might find that someone's money habit is based on their behavior. So a good program needs to be able to measure that for you, just to encourage you and let you know what you're doing.
Proper insights. Sheila, we could go on forever, but I'm sorry I don't have that time because I feel like I'm in class all of a sudden. That's how I know that I'm really feeding from you this morning. Just cleared like this morning. For anybody who wants to contact the Financial Wellness Center, how can they do that?
They can contact us through our email, which is info@financialwellnesscenter.co.ke. They can also reach us either via phone, WhatsApp, or messages through +254 702 091 970. And as well, they can reach us on our social media platforms. We do have a Facebook page under the name Financial Wellness Center, as well as an Instagram account that goes under the name Financial Wellness Center, as well as Twitter. You can find me also as Sheila Mboga.
Pretty much. Sheila, thank you very much for taking your time to speak to us this morning.
Thank you so much. I'm really humbled and I hope that our viewers have benefited from this program.
I hope they have. The guys who are nodding in the studio this morning. All right, thank you very much. We take a short break here on Business AM. Once we come back, we continue with the business for the day.
Sure, thank you.
Sasa kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 ungana nasi ambapo tutakuwa tukiweza kuziangazia biashara ambazo zimeweza kuibuka wakati huu wa corona, na pia zile ambazo zimeweza kuathirika lakini zimeweza kujimudu, kujikuza wakati huu wa corona. Haya basi, ungana nami Tabitha Muthoni kila Alhamisi saa 1:30, show ikiwa ni The Hustle.
The entertainment industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. But the question is, how can you get a share of the pie? On E-Magazine, we follow the money behind the glam and break it down for you, making sure you get a share of the pie. Catch E-Magazine at this time only on Metropol television.
It's agriculture that is the key driver of the Kenyan economy.
Anakuletea na kuuzia bei ya chini na wewe inabidi pia uuzie customer na bei ile ya chini.
For fresh beans, I can say it actually brings a good income.
Kama ni gunia moja iko na 200 pieces, so hiyo shilingi 5 times 200.
Actually, rainwater is the best for crops.
Whether rain-fed or using rivers to irrigate.
Tunapanga kuweka drip line kwa shamba.
We had thought that we could pump the water with solar.
Different farmers have shared their stories on how they are turning produce to profit.
Akipata kama miti 300 hivi, atakuwa akiokota pesa kama majani.
This is money eating me.
All this we have extensively covered.
This is a test greenhouse. I put it up to see if we can produce organic tomato. I'm not lying, it's very sweet.
And different things that farmers are doing to make profit from produce.
Kuamua ukulima wa makadamia ilikuwa ni kama ndoto.
We are still growing.
Weka mbolea vizuri inakuwa kitu ya kukusaidia.
These are net caps.
Other than the French beans you can see, we also have veggies.
Assume the reason why you're using hydroponics is because of the soil-borne problem.
Catch us every week on the Farm Journal here on Metropol TV. This is the Farm Journal.
I would like to take this opportunity to sympathize with the families that have already been affected, the individuals, and also take this opportunity to thank the effort of our government under the leadership of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta. Especially I would like to thank the Minister for Health and his team for the effort being done day and night to contain the existing problems. I request all of us to adhere to what Allah is saying, and at the same time also the guidelines given.
Whether you call it coronavirus
pandemic,
coronavirus cases,
or COVID-19, the effects are the same.
Closed businesses, contracted economies.
Kenya's tourism sector has lost 80 billion shillings.
The entire tourism sector is out of business at the moment.
COVID has created an environment that is so uncertain, so unpredictable.
Anybody trying to pretend to give you an accurate prediction of what's going to happen in the future is wrong.
The conversation has now moved from what unprecedented measures economies will be forced to take to
reopening as they fight the COVID-19 pandemic.
We must open.
As National Treasury, we'd be more than happy if the economy was open today.
Airport terminal access shall henceforth be restricted to workers and travelers only.
Narudishia rais wetu asanti njia ya kufungua.
Biashara saa zitaendelea.
Should the situation deteriorate, we will have to revert back to lockdown.
In all my journalistic careers, I have seen shows in and out. Questions, and more questions, as you may know. Well, this is not your ordinary primetime show. Questions and answers and boom, time's up. Opinions and thoughts being gagged down your throat, yet you have no say. One party versus the other, flexing the muscle to see who's smarter. For us, It's simple. The show is about you. Topics that affect your daily life. We slow it all down to decipher it in a way that makes sense to you and explain how it trickles down to the last shilling in your pocket while engaging thought leaders, opinion shapers, and policymakers. And for the full circle, we add your voice into the conversation. This is Metropol Debrief.
Wow, all right, it's Business AM 20146. That's your SMS line at Metropol TVKE across your social media platforms. I don't know why Stephanie Watson never introduces this segment. It's not mine. Richie, come on. See how I get caught off guard? All right, Stephanie wants to take over. Why? Why don't we have you introducing this part?
Right, I think from now on I'll be introducing this.
Thank you very much. So Friday it is. We're on?
It's okay, we're on.
Fantastic.
We're on. How's your weekend?
Can't complain.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Okay.
Can't complain. We
What
just
did you do?
We just had a a lot of. All right, we've just had a conversation. We've just had a conversation about financial health, financial
wellness. Yeah.
One of the most important conversations ever had.
Very important conversation. The youth should have.
They should have that.
Should have, yeah.
And so, can I tell you one principle though?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The saying. All right.
Yes.
One, and I gotta ask you this. I gotta know this. I've had somebody talk about it. That always you should spend less than you earn.
Yes. Yes.
Always.
Always.
You can spend more than you earn.
Yeah.
That whatever you get in your pocket should be able to sustain you. Number one, save. Number two, invest, and then carry you
throughout the month,
through your monthly expenditure.
Yes,
quite important.
It is very
people
important.
will stick to that, then life will be easier.
It would be very easy, but here we are taking loans to founds on social media.
And it's that she actually mentioned that.
Yeah, it's okay to you, your law.
That you would take a loan to buy pizza. Just because you've seen buy one get one free.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
And another very important is that you need to protect what you have. Which summarizes the importance
for sure. Because I did know like you have to insure your investments.
Yeah, you can insure your investments as well.
That's something new I learned today.
Yes. You can insure your investments. And that at the end of the day, you need to save.
Yeah.
That's what she's saying. Like you need to save your money. Yes. Don't just spend all of it.
Don't.
In fact, in some ways, she did say this. That you can actually borrow to save.
Yeah.
Because then you have to think about multiplying your money.
For sure.
That if you're at all you're gonna borrow, then borrow to save, because in that essence you'll be multiplying that money.
Yes. So think of how to make more money.
That's it, out of what it is that you get or what it is that you borrow.
Yes.
Interesting
conversation. Actually,
quite
that's
important.
the mood we'd like to get on a Monday, on a chilly Monday.
Isn't it? Yes. What is hashtag what? Hashtag Business AM hashtag? Cool Vibe Mondays?
Hashtag Monday Blues, no.
Monday Blues.
There's no Monday Blues.
There's no Monday Blues when it comes to positivity like that.
Yes, that's the way to start your Monday. Hashtag Monday Positivity.
Fantastic. I feel like I'm taking over. Can you take over?
Let me take over and talk about our first story, which is about, I don't know if this is sad news, but Kenya has dropped 4 places in the index that measures the capacity of countries to attract local and foreign investments. Now, the 4th edition of ABSA Africa Financial Markets Index 2020 show Kenya lost 7 points to score 58 out of 100 points, placing it at the 7th position from last third. We were at third.
We're at third. So now we've dropped 4 places.
Yeah.
All right. That they're saying on our ability to attract
local and foreign investments. What do you think this is the case right now? Do we blame COVID?
Well, COVID is a global phenomenon. I don't think we need to blame it for that.
Yeah.
But I think for me, in this country though, there's this sentiment that for you to grow, for you to have that investment, lazima ukuwe umepitia kando. And that does exist, by the way.
It really, sadly it does.
Have you ever won a government tender?
No.
No, you should be applying for these things though. No, I'm asking you.
But I feel like it's a long shot.
No, it's not a long shot for you, Stephanie Waso. Here's the thing. The government favors, number one, a youth, and number two, in as much as you might say there are two sides to that coin, a lady. In the Kenyan economy, you've been given a chance.
We have.
According to this government, you might don't start arguing it right now. That's what I know. That the government gives you opportunities now to succeed as a lady, as a person with any disability. I'll say the infirm in our society, and a youth. So here's the thing: the tenders you should be applying for, like the wheelbarrow tenders, if probably somebody has to give out wheelbarrows and all that. As a lady, you can actually score them easily. But is that the case? Is it not easy for us to get that? No. Because if it's not that easy, then factors like those start coming in. For sure. All right? For sure. I've had conversations with international investors in real estate. Yeah. Do you know the 88? Do you know where it is? Upper Hill?
Yes.
The tallest building in it's going to be in what? In East Africa? In Eastern Central Africa?
Yeah.
But do you know where it is though? No. Do you know what the complaints are?
What is the complaint?
Licensing is a nightmare. Yeah, to get a renewal of license. Yeah,
still a
right.
problem,
Do you know what it takes to have a restaurant in the CBD?
What does it take?
Wow, Stephanie,
so much. So if you're probably thinking of opening a restaurant, you'd give up.
You're gonna give up. Yeah, especially a proper working restaurant. The licensing, the royalties that you gotta pay.
So many logistics.
So much. That running a smaller business, and also when you're thinking about proper investments in the country. It also goes together. We do know that there's also the ease of doing business report that we keep on getting annually. Also, that's another thing, that if we drop on that, and then we drop on this one for APSA, then it shows that there's that is going on in the country.
There is.
Yeah, that needs fixing.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yes. Anyway, now moving on to equity. Now, let me get... Sorry. This is this is not the right one. Let me go to another one now. If you are a trader in Nairobi, you face a penalty of late renewal business license as the career eyes improved revenue collection. Now, in a letter to business owners in the city, the taxman warned that those who have not renewed their 2020 business permits will be fined for late payment.
Yeah, for late payments. Yeah.
Yes.
Is that the best way to get people to pay for is that the best way to get people to pay for their taxes and all?
Probably.
Could be.
Yeah.
But
KRA is trying to improve their revenue collection, so they're looking for small
Would you
places
say that,
to...
though? Because tax payment is a duty.
It is a duty.
For any loyal citizen.
It is a duty.
Yeah. So why would you say that they're actually trying to improve their tax collections? I don't think it is.
You don't think it is?
No.
We've been seeing KRA attacking other businesses trying to get,
They're not essentially. It's a mandate.
It is a mandate.
What happens when you don't pay? It's a contract that you're signing with the government. Now, for you to keep on giving you the services or protect your business, you know,
need to.
You gotta give us something, man. Give Caesar what belongs to Caesar.
For sure.
Then Caesar will be good. Won't come knocking on your door.
Yeah, they would. They would. Yeah.
That's exactly what I look at it. But for me, it's probably now trying to. But for me, when I look at KRA and the position that they find themselves right now in, when it comes to matters relating to the COVID-19 pandemic, pay for an individual earning below what? Is it 24,000? Yeah, up to 24,000 has been extended all the way to the next financial year. We do have VAT that has been also been reduced for 14%. That period has been extended. So for me, it is pretty much they find themselves in a corner now. And if there was anything that wasn't working for them, they gotta make it work now. So run away from late repayments, run away from people evading tax and avoiding tax. Two different things, by the way. Evading and avoiding.
Yes.
When it comes to tax issues, one is legal, one is not. One is a crime. So probably now that will be the conversations that we're having right now, especially when it comes to KRA and them trying to push for proper tax collections now.
Yes. Now let's move on to Equity, which has a balance sheet size worth 673.7 billion at the end of 2019, has been ranked number 7 among the top 10 banks in Africa 2020 with a score of 5.82 2 in the overall category of the best performing banks. This is according to the Bankers Top 100 African Banks ranking for 2020.
Is now number 7
Now
among
number
the
7.
best banks in Africa.
Yes.
Wow, that's good.
I thought my bank would be here, but
which one?
KCB. Who do you bank with?
It's bigger.
Okay.
No, wait. I mean, KCB is bigger than equity.
It is bigger than equity.
So probably we haven't known the metrics that they were using for that. Yeah, and it keeps on getting bigger. You know, they did acquire more, more equity for
sure.
the collapsed Imperial Bank. Last week. Yeah.
Yes.
They were proved to do that.
Yeah.
But it will be bigger, yes, fine. But well, those are with a balance size of 673 billion. Yeah.
End of 2019. So we haven't seen.
Yeah.
We're waiting for 2020.
Wait, do you see that? It's been ranked according to the best performing banks. Yeah, it's among the best performing banks.
Makes sense. Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily make it the biggest bank.
The biggest bank, yeah.
It's among the best performing banks.
Yeah.
Yes, that's fine.
This is good. Yeah.
And I was telling you how this goes. When you look at the top tier banks, I will tell you, KCB is the biggest bank in terms of assets and by lending also in the country.
Yes.
So when it comes to getting affected again, you know, can I ask you? You have 2 kids.
Okay.
And then we start saying, there's a, God forbid, that's the worst example ever. There's hunger.
Okay.
And you have 2 kids, and we give you 1 bag of maize. Okay. So somebody with a family of 2 kids would continue surviving properly. Won't feel that much of an effect. But somebody with a bigger family has to hustle because with 7 kids, this 1 bag of maize is just going to get done very quick. So when it comes to performance again, if you look at exactly how KCB has been affected in relation to equity, then you will see the difference again in terms of size. KCB is feeling the bigger hit because they lend more, all right? They've got bigger assets. But then at the end of the day, you feel like if they lose, because they've also got bigger assets, you still be left with a couple of kids to call your kids. Equity and the smaller tier banks, then you will see exactly the effects that we're talking about.
Makes a lot of sense.
When it comes to performance, equity has been one of those banks that have been really reckoning.
I agree.
It's your show, so Stefan wants to me. Can you take us out?
Can I just talk about one last thing about the weather, please? Just
That's
one last thing.
That's not on me. Richie, you know who to fight. Not me.
And I just want to let you guys know, I'm sure you've been wondering, like, the whole day we have sunshine, but around 4 p.m. there's rainfall, and this is why the Kenya Met Department wants you to know why it rains late afternoons or in the evening, especially in Nairobi, yet we have afternoon sunshine. The rainfall we are currently experiencing is mainly convective.
And I want to ask you that question.
Convective. As a result, we have periods of insolation that provide the energy for rain later in the day.
What's the opposite of convective? Geography. Now
let me
brag.
Fine, tell me.
Relief. So we have convectional rainfall and relief rainfall. All right. Convectional rainfall is usually caused by evaporation. All right. When there's so much evaporation because of so much heat during the day, then the clouds get heavier, and when the temperature drops, that pressure difference, they start raining.
You don't be a geography fancy.
Why is the Met Department?
Okay,
I mean,
well, let's take that short break.
You got me here. And relief?
Really take that short break.
Relief?